Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. So I wanted to continue on information about crystals, and this video is specific to cleansing. So there are many ways. I'm just going to show you my version of that, and maybe something will be new to you, and maybe it'll just be a refresher, and that's okay. But I think it's important to remember, because when we use our crystals, and even in just sitting where they are, they can absorb energies, and it's good to clear them. If not, they kind of get dull. And so just to kind of make this point from the beginning, you can rate them. So you could rate in terms of how, I don't want to say the word dirty, but how dirty they feel before and after, or how clean they feel. Let's say how clean they feel, right? So if you are tuned in and tapped in, you may be able to do this right away. It may not come as a number, it may come as a feeling. It's completely subjective, okay? I'm just giving the example of numbers because you could like use a rating in your intuitive sense of from 1 to 10, 1 being it's not clean at all, and 10 being, oh, this stone is perfectly clear. Okay, so I'll give an example just once, because if not the video will take too long, but I'll give an example of before and after. And remember, you can do this your way. Like, it might be that you just feel, ooh, this stone feels foggy or heavy or something. And then once you do the clearing, you might hold it and be like, oh, it feels light. Even physically, you might feel lighter. So just go with what works for you, okay? Okay, so I will start with this stone, and I'll talk about 5 methods. There's probably a lot more, but 5 methods that I would use. Okay, so this is my apatite. I use it a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit for a few seconds and just feel from 1 to 10 how cleansed this stone feels right now. Okay, so right away I got 2. Now I'm good to, oh, hi, Nico. Nico, get out of the camera. Sorry. That's what they do when I'm not paying attention to them. Okay, so I got 2 out of 10. So it needs a lot of cleansing, okay? And it might not be functioning at the level that I need it to function. So how I'm gonna show the more complicated one right now. So I have a copper bowl here. Copper is a good one to use in terms of for this particular kind of thing, okay? And there's water in it. And remember though, like a lot of people do flush their stones with water, running water. That's great. You could do it that way, and I'm not saying this is better, just showing you another way. Not all stones can be put into water though, because they could start to kind of dissolve. Like selenite is one that I wouldn't put in water because it's more soft. It's gonna eventually soften into the water. My cats are super active right now, considering I'm trying to do a video. Of course. Okay. What I'm going to do with this water first is bring the intention of cleansing energy into it. So I'm actually going to infuse it in my own way with that intention, like a little prayer. So this is all very intuitive. I'm just giving you ideas of how you can do this. And basically, let me see what... So the words that are coming through, and it might not be the same every time. I'm asking my divine guidance and guides to purify this water so that it is in the highest vibration in order to fully cleanse, clear, and purify the stone that will be placed in. It is done. Thank you. Okay. And you may even visualize white light going into the water. Okay. So I felt my third eye vibrating when I did that right away, the words coming through. And I would just place the stone there and then intuitively feel, again, the intuition has to come in when it's done. You might just say, okay, I'm gonna leave it overnight, just leave it. That's fine. You could do that. Okay? So I might not do it too long for the sake of the length of the video. But I'm feeling what's happening. Okay. I'm going to let it sit a bit longer. Another thing you can do is ask the stone which cleansing method it wants, right? Because the more you learn how to communicate with your stones, the more you'll just be able to ask them, what do you want to do today? What kind of cleansing do you feel like? Do you want to wait for the full moon? Because that's another way to do it, right? So just trust your intuition. This will test you a lot, like if you just trust it. Okay, I might leave it in for the rest of the video, but I'm just going to take it out for a moment and just check. So the rating of the cleansing, oh, it's going like between 5 and 6. It's like 5.5, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it in. Let's leave it in there. So, okay. Now I haven't asked the crystals. I'm just doing this to demonstrate. Like I'm not asking which one they want. So this is another one I use a lot. Sometimes I hold it when I'm healing. It's kind of a rose quartz. It's infused, I think it's with platinum, so it has a little bit of a interesting shine. It also has, I dropped it once and it created a cross, okay, when I dropped it. So I don't know if you could see that, but like it created this cross and it was really like weird. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Next method is, I use this a lot when I need to do a quick cleanse for someone who's buying a bracelet or something. And I just, I trust, right? I trust. The vibration of the bowl, like, will basically vibrate any things that are stagnant in the stone. I see it as moving the stagnation. That's how I see it, okay? So any singing bowl you want, maybe you choose one that sounds great to you if you don't have any. If you do have one, start using it for this if you don't. So usually what I do is I go 3 times clockwise and then 3 times counterclockwise. That's pretty much what I do. So I'll just do that now with the intention that it's clearing. So I kind of look at the stone and I put it out there. Okay, I didn't rate it before and after. That's okay. But we'll check on this one after. Right. So the next one, you can do sage, right? So we'll just, here's my sage. And honestly, I'm not going to give you any like, oh, you have to do it for this long and this. You can do the exact same thing. Ask, okay, how much do I need to, and you feel it out. You feel the rock before and after. You say, okay, ooh, it feels like a 2. And then just sage, 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 and just feel like when it's done, I don't want to really give rules because I don't think there is any rules, to be quite honest. There might be teachers out there that are like, you got to do it this way and then this and that. You know what? I'm more about intuition and just feeling it out, okay? So I would just, and maybe holding it isn't even the best way to do it. I'm just trying to show you, but you could place it somewhere and have the sage running, okay? So that's that. Another one, I have selenite near my crystals all the time, but I personally don't know if that means that all the crystals are cleansed. I think you would need to keep it like the crystal right next to selenite, and definitely test before and after, because selenite apparently, and I think there are other stones that do this, but selenite is a crystal that cleans other stones, okay? So you could definitely use this, like if you have a bracelet, this one's a good one to use. You could just if you have a gemstone bracelet, just stack your bracelets around a selenite. And I would definitely still do like a test before and after just to see, okay, is this working, or is this the method that this crystal needs? These are the things you can start doing, because it's really helpful not only to cleanse your crystals a little bit more like efficiently, but it's also going to help you work on your intuition and your abilities to tap into things, right? So selenite is definitely a great crystal to use for cleansing. All right. And the last method I want to talk about is just the full moon. So the full moon has a lot of powerful energy. It is about letting go. So there's different ways you can do it. If you have a specific windowsill that the moon hits, you could place those crystals there for the night before the full moon night, the night after the full moon. You could figure out how many days it needs to be there. And the other way that I know of and I've done is you bury the crystals in the dirt, probably at least for the night of the full moon. So that would be another way. And again, test before and after, check on the crystals. I'd say that one is a really powerful way for sure, because then like the earth is just like absorbing, and the moon is also generating a lot of this energy to clear stuff. Okay, so let's go back to the first method and check on the crystal. Okay, so I'm getting like just the first numbers that came, 8, 9. So between 8 and 9. So it's almost there. I'm just gonna leave it in and hope that it clears up. I think it'll clear up completely. If it went up that much, it's pretty good. All right. So I hope that helps. So blessing the water. If you want to do running water, that's fine, but you could do a blessed water that's purified with your own method of bringing, guidance and asking a specific guide to help you make the water so that it purifies your stone. You may want to do a bunch of stones at once in a bigger copper bowl if you have it. Copper is just, it's better for something like this, but at the end of the day, like, it's not a big deal, right? Singing bowls, the vibrations of that, the sage, having selenite, and the full moon. So those are all great ways to do it. So thank you for joining me, and I hope this video kind of helped you understand a little bit more about cleansing crystals. And if you liked it, please click like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because